to our weekly catch-up. This Friday, we're having Dean Massey as a camera operator from Sky News. Dean graduated in 2017. We're going to have a few questions for him today so we can get a bit of insight of what he does and how he does it. Dean, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so hi everyone. Thanks for having me on. I'm Dean Massey. I am a camera operator editor for Sky News. My job basically consists of filming the daily news that's happening in the UK and beyond. So, for example, I've filmed the daily coronavirus briefing in number 10 lately, and other pieces around coronavirus and kind of anything that you see on the daily news.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So, just for videographers and maybe people who are just passionate about this kind of stuff, they might not know exactly what you do, details and things. Walk us through a little bit of your daily, work day. I know you said in our, for people who don't know, we have a podcast interview type with Dean Massey on YouTube. You can check that out. On there, you did mention that they call you, they send you somewhere, you shoot, you edit. Sometimes you even edit, and exactly what you do ends up on screen, right? So how does it work? Do they call you? How do you do it?
So it's kind of a really spontaneous lifestyle and a really spontaneous job. I basically sometimes work from home or sometimes go to London where our sort of base is. And at the start of the shift, I get a call or I make a call in and they tell me what I'm going to do for the day. And that could be anything from, go somewhere in the centre of London and talk to a politician or talk to someone who's going through something or anything really. Or it could be, would you like to go to the airport and go to another country and film whatever's happening over there? If it's UK-based stuff, you don't really get to edit your footage, but when you're on foreigners going abroad, a lot of the time you'll film a piece, edit it together in an absolute rush, and then sort of, exactly how you send it in, all your footage, your edit, it'll go out on TV like that. So sort of that three-minute chunk of TV is just all you.
Okay, that's a lot of pressure, I guess. Do you have multiple projects at once?
Not really. At the moment, I'm working on a documentary that I shot in Africa recently. But most of the time, it's kind of like one thing and then the other. But at the moment, I'm working on a documentary and also then going out and doing the sort of daily news as well. But I mean, the pace of work's changed quite a bit. So obviously, there's less people that you can go and film at the moment.
I know you did mention on our last call something about Africa and Senegal and all that, but it didn't end up in the final cut in the final podcast interview. Can you tell us a little bit of what are you doing now in the documentary, if it's not confidential?
So I went to Africa, to Senegal, to film a documentary on terrorism and climate change. And that's actually should be going out at the end of next week, and we're in the final stages now of sort of making little tweaks.
All right. So everyone keep an eye out for Dean's little footage.
Yeah, I'm not sure when it'll go out, but that'll be 12, 13 minutes, like a mini documentary of all my kind of footage, and I've edited the whole thing. I'm really proud of it. It's the first one that I've done that's that long. We call it a special.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, we have our first question from P. Solabode. Can you talk about how you got the job with Sky? I know we've done also an interview with you the year you graduated in 2017, where I think you were just getting the job at Sky. How did you get it?
So I had a little bit of a weird route in, and it was actually through a friend that put me in contact with somebody who worked at Sky. So, it was sort of through a network, I guess. And then I did work experience for about a year and a half in my final year and a half of uni. And then when a position came up, went for it and got it. But so I guess that doesn't really help students because I kind of had that access. But what I was doing as well at the time was I was attending lots of RTS networking events. And
okay.
I got to meet quite sort of senior people in the industry from Channel 4 and BBC and all different kind of channels, and was able to get some work experience opportunities there as well. So I'd recommend definitely signing up to the RTS. I think as a student you can get it for free, and free access to all of their sort of networking events and different things, and go along to those and make contacts. And I remember I used to talk to people there, and then afterwards I'd always find them on LinkedIn and drop them a message and say, "Oh, hi, I'm Dean. You know, we spoke about skateboarding or anything," because you just go and have a chat to someone, and then ask them for an opportunity. And sometimes it pays off, and sometimes it doesn't.
So would you say for you networking really worked best?
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many people that are amazing at shooting and cutting that I think you've got to have that sort of one-on-one connection to try and make yourself stand out from the crowd. And for me, that was kind of the most important thing. And I think that's what kind of made me get a job, because you've got to be relatable and you've got to be sort of personable. Yeah.
So talent is not everything, although we can see obviously you're talented and everything. So, but yeah, networking, go to events, talk to people.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got to be able to do the job when you get it. Otherwise, you'll be found out pretty quick. But it's all about kind of networking and just getting in front of people. And I mean, you'll get a lot of rejections, but there'll be that one person that eventually goes, "Oh, I'll give you a chance," and then that'll be it. Once you've got your foot in the door, you're in. And there's people in my year who I went to uni with that applied for 50 odd jobs, and then eventually it took them say like a year, and then they're in, and now they've been in the industry for like the last 2 years.
So just make the most of every opportunity, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Make the most of every single opportunity. And whilst I was at Solent as well, I was taking on all sorts of jobs from Solent Creatives, and that put me in touch with loads of different people that then put me in touch with more people. And I did some shooting for some online magazines that were like kind of, a few steps away from Solent Creatives through kind of a network, and all sorts of different things. So it's just about kind of getting yourself out there as much as you can.
Okay, so in terms of networking, Solent Creatives was your start point, would you say?
Well,
or is that a bit too much?
One of the points.
Okay, fair enough.
I had an internship at a recording studio in Rugby. So I'd say that was probably my very first step. But then after that, it would be Solent Creatives, and each kind of step kind of built my network a bit more and built me up.
Okay.
But I think, if I didn't have the opportunity to do work experience at Sky, I would have just absolutely gone in sort of with all my effort on the RTS events, and kind of, I mean, if you Google like TV industry networking events, there's loads that will come up. And I used to email all the time video production companies and wedding video companies.
What would you tell them? Would you introduce yourself, send them your portfolio, or?
It would change a bit depending on who I was messaging, and I would kind of say I was emailing into like a company that makes documentaries. I'd talk about what they've done and things that I'm really enthusiastic about that they've filmed, and then make suggestions. And then I'd be like, so give them a link and be like, "Oh, here's my work. I'd love to come and just be on set for a day, or can I come and make teas and coffees for people, or something like that."
Shadow them for a day.
Yeah, absolutely, and just to be around. And I think if you can just get your face in there, just for a day, and then when an opportunity comes up, I think, in my opinion, you're probably more likely to get it, because they know you, they know who you are. And that counts for a lot.
Okay, fair enough. In the beginning of your answer, you did mention you did about 1.5 years of experience.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit about that? How was that? What did you do exactly?
So whilst I was sort of midway through second year, had the opportunity come through to go to Sky News and sort of shadow someone for a day. And so I went out with a camera operator for the day, which was because that's what I wanted to do, and absolutely loved it. But before that, actually, I wanted to work in video production.
Okay.
So I thought I'll give it a go, sort of like like producing promo videos or something like that, rather than kind of television. And I thought I'd give it a go, and then absolutely fell in love with it after just going on one day of work experience. But then after that one day, I sort of gave it a few days and then emailed in, obviously saying, "Oh, that was amazing. I'd love to come back." And like even if it's just making teas and coffee for people in the newsroom or anything, I just wanted to like keep my face in there, because I thought, if I can be present for the next year and a bit, then when a job comes up, I'll know about it, hopefully, because I'll be in the circle, hopefully. And so I used to go maybe 3 or 4 days a month. And I would kind of work. I'd work at Solent Creatives and other video production jobs and stuff, and then spend all my money on getting like an Airbnb or a hotel in London for 3 or 4 days, and then 3 or 4.
What sort of agreement with them you had for 3 or 4 days, or was it just as much as you could?
No, it was kind of like it was very fluid. It was just kind of when I could, but it was very fluid. It was just kind of like a back and forth and working out when we could both do it with union commitments and different things. But obviously, I didn't want to absolutely go in all the time on asking to be there, because I didn't want to bug them or anything like that.
Okay, and we have our second question from Peace again. What was your experience like working as a camera op for On the Bank?
Oh, On the Bank. It was fantastic, actually. I think it taught me a hell of a lot. One of the main things that I took away from it was kind of how to shoot sequences. I think Andy Ford is a fantastic mentor. And a lot of the stuff I went out and did with him and Rob Hughes. And it was a lot of early mornings, going out, standing in the cold, filming them, fishing on like almost frozen lakes and things. But no, it was fantastic. Yeah, it taught me how to shoot sequences. It taught me how to kind of maintain your kit throughout the day and control like how much charge you have on things, and just kind of being organized in general.
Right. So
I think
you a bit of
the opportunity to go and shoot on the bank, absolutely do what you can to get on it, because that was, for me, an absolutely essential stepping stone to get to where I am now.
Okay. So obviously when you're on the job, how do you prioritize your work? What comes first? Obviously for videographers out there who like a bit more about time management and, a bit of advice.
So I mean, most of the jobs that I do, it'll be, say, going and filming an interview with someone, and then getting a few shots of them afterwards to go into a piece about something. So I'm trying to think of an example. I can't think of any examples. I can't. But the first thing that I like to do most of the time is, as soon as you get there, obviously, I don't take my kit in most of the time. If you're in someone's house or wherever you are, just have a chat to them, get to know them a little bit, and put them at ease. Because most of the time, a lot of people haven't, been filmed before or done an interview before, and I'm absolutely terrible at it. If I have a camera in front of my face, I just freeze up. So you've got to kind of put them at ease a bit, and then I'll look for the sort of location where you're going to do the interview, and you want to think about what's relevant to the story, and you don't just want a random background. You want something that's relevant, and obviously that could be anything.
Don't leave anything to chance, basically.
Say again, sorry.
Don't leave anything to chance. Just make sure everything is set up.
Yeah, like you've got to control absolutely everything that you can control in that environment, because there's so many things that could go wrong. And then, so once you've picked your location, I shoot the interview first. And then after that, film kind of, we call them GVs, like I think stands for general vision. I don't know, those GVs. And but from the interview, you can kind of figure out what you want to shoot as your GVs because of what they talk about. So if they talk about, I don't know, like a grandson or whoever, if there's a photo of the grandson on the side, then you can get some shots of that. And just work like that, really.
Okay, our next question is from Nikki Curtis. Dean, where do you see your career developing in New York the next couple of years? Thank you for the question, Nikki.
In New York? You know what that means?
I think that's what Nikki meant. I thought maybe she knows something we don't.
No, I don't know anything about New York, but career development. Oh, I don't know. It's really weird. I feel at the moment, this is my dream job, and I spent my whole life up until this point kind of always thinking this is the next step, and then pushing for the next thing. But now I'm in this position. I feel like I'm a bit calm and settled because I'm just really enjoying what I'm doing. And I don't know. At the moment, it's my
morning, Andy. Hello, Andy Ford is with us.
Hey, Andy. At the moment, I think I'm just really happy, kind of doing what I'm doing and getting the best at, bettering myself at storytelling and doing that through vision.
What is your obviously everyone has a end point, the highest you want to get. What is that for you? What would that be for you? Would it be a TV show? Would it be what would you like to do? Or do you consider you are already where you would like to be?
I really can't see myself doing anything different at the moment. I just absolutely love what I'm doing. I mean, there's a lot of different things that I would love to do, but at the moment, I'm just really content in what I'm doing. I think I'd like to travel a lot more and film lots of stories around the globe. I'm trying to think. But I'm just really happy doing what I'm doing, to be honest.
Okay. And obviously for the more technical people out there, can you just give us a little bit of the details about what you do, like controls of cameras, how do you use focus, exposure, lighting, how do you use all these settings? What do you prefer? What's your favorite preset?
Okay, so at the moment, my camera of choice is a Panasonic GH5. It's like a little sort of DSLR.
The Lumix one.
Yeah, and I'm really enjoying shooting with that because of the sort of color profiles and the depth of field that you can get on it. How do I use it? I think it's important when you're on shoots to think about your depth of field and what you're trying to say with that. So, if you want to isolate someone a lot more from the background and you just want to focus on them, say if they're getting emotional or something, or if it's going to be they're going to be talking about something emotional, like if a relative of theirs has been stabbed or something like that, then you can whack down your f-stop and really bring them out from the black background and just blur it all out completely, and then you're completely focused on them. But like I said, if something in the background is relevant, then you're going to shoot at a much higher f-stop to bring that more in focus. Okay, so I guess that's kind of like focus.
Andy has a little tip for you. When you film the number 10 briefings, can you stop wobbling the camera, please?
Thanks, Andy. Yeah, no, I've only done it. I've done it once, and it was a lot of pressure. I think it's the most pressure I've ever felt before. But yeah, no, thank you, Andy.
How do you deal with pressure? Speaking of that, do you drink lots of coffee? Do you have your own, would you say, I don't know, mantra or sort of ritual before you go shooting?
I don't know. I shake a little bit, to be honest. I remember on the Downing Street briefing, so you kind of get a bit of a warning before they come in, and I had like a zoom demand on my tripod handle for pushing in and out, and they were like, "Okay, I think you've got like a minute before they come in," and my thumb was doing this, I was thinking, oh my god, you know, if they walk in and then I put my thumb on like that, the camera's just going to be like zooming in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I kind of just like try and zone myself out of it a bit and like deep breathing and just think.
You go to your happy place.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. I just get it in my chest, that nervous feeling in my chest. That's all I get.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right, let's see what other questions. Can you share an experience with us where you successfully shared a difficult piece of information? Because obviously, working in news, you get to deal with a lot of emotional and difficult stories.
Mm,
Something on that side, because obviously, maybe some people haven't thought about that side of doing news.
difficult piece of information. I mean, I guess there's a. Oh god, I don't know.
Oh, we can keep that for if
There's a lot of
something
things.
comes up.
I mean, most news is bad news, really. There's not often that much happy and good news on the TV. So, you know, you go on stories where you film people that, have had absolute kind of heartache and all sorts of different things. Yeah, you know, like lost family members or film people that have lost someone to coronavirus or something like that. And you just got to sort of comfort them as best as you can. But one thing that kind of I think we have as an advantage of being behind the camera is that you're almost a little bit shut off because you're looking through the lens.
Right.
And because, you know, during the interview, obviously you're listening to what they're saying as well, but you're so, like, I'm so concentrated on focus, exposure, you know, headroom, like framing and all sorts of different things. And you're doing the sound as well, and, you know, your lighting, and you kind of almost a little bit distracted. So that kind of helps with dealing with, you know, all this different stuff that's going on.
All right. And Peace has another question for us. How much of creativity is restricted when filming for the news? How much can you put your own input to what you do?
So I'd say I have 99% creative control over it.
Okay. I think, can you detail a bit about that?
Yeah, so there's a bit of a misconception. I get a lot of friends saying to me, you know, oh, like, you must get told what to film and stuff like that, but I completely don't. You basically just, the way it works at Sky News is that you get given a brief and they say, okay, this is the story, sort of what they decide they want to talk about on that day. And then it's up to me and the reporter or correspondent and producer to just go out and make it. And so between you come up with it.
All right.
Basically. Obviously, you don't sort of make it up, but you know, creatively wise, where I want to film, how I want to do it, the lighting and everything, it's all down to me. And it's, you know, it's a collaboration. So if anyone's got any suggestions, then you will take it in and kind of work together. But you know, as the camera operator, you kind of have complete control about how creatively you want to shoot it.
Has it ever happened that you've got there, you set up the camera, you've set up the lights and everything, and someone said, "That's not good," you know? Or have you ever been told off really for any of your creative input?
No one's ever kind of came out that bluntly and said, "Oh, it's not good," but people kind of do it in the way of making suggestions, and you know, you're not going to be right all the time, and everyone's going to have different suggestions. But most of the time, I find that it's you kind of do something, and then you'll film an interview in a certain way, and then afterwards you'll think, "Oh, actually, I should have filmed it looking this way," or you know, because just things like thinking about, say, you're doing an hour-long interview. Thinking about where the sun's going to come around. So is it going to come through that window in 30 minutes time and then blast the side of the person that you're filming? And, you know, there's things like that, really. But
like it's really overexposing my face right now.
Yeah. I'm using my window like on this side of me.
Yeah.
But, no, it's more people kind of, they're not so blunt about it, but they'll make suggestions.
Okay. And what does your everyday crew looks like? How many people are in the crew? How do you work out? What's your average day?
So the average day, there's a few different types of jobs. So I guess the most kind of low crude one is when you get told to just go and get shots of something. So say it's something to do with sport and you need to go and get some shots of a football stadium. Then you'll just go on your own and just get a load of shots and then send them in. But then if you're doing an interview, you'll probably have, it'll just be you and the reporter. So they'll obviously ask the questions and kind of get out of the interview what they need and to talk about their story and stuff like that. But then I'll have kind of control over literally everything in terms of visually, so, and the audio as well.
Okay.
But then, the next step up from that, it will be if a producer comes along, because it's going maybe into a bit of a bigger project, or they want something a bit more stylized, or something with a bit more kind of thought put into it. 3 heads are better than 2, I guess. So, and then the next step up from that is if you do what we call pres.
Yeah.
So that'll be where you kind of present the news from a location. It could be anywhere really. Like I did it recently at the Australian bushfires, and you'll take a camera with an auto cue set up on it and loads of lighting and different things, and all sorts of different kit, and you'll present the news as if you're in the studio but from that location, and that can be anywhere up to maybe 10 people plus.
Okay. Peace has another question for us. Are there many opportunities for you to network with other people working at Sky?
I don't know in what way really. Obviously, I talk to all of my colleagues a lot, but I don't know whether peace means kind of across different parts of Sky. You are quite in your own bubble as a camera operator because you're always out on the road. So, most days I won't go into the office, and especially not during coronavirus now. I kind of work from home a lot and go from home. But there's some opportunity, and I think if you really went about it, you could go and talk to a lot of people and get a lot of contacts. But most of the time, you're out on the road in sort of who knows where, filming random people, so you don't have kind of that face-to-face contact.
Right. Just to put it out there, just to mention, because Peace has already asked about 3 questions. Peace is a videographer from uni. She's 3rd year. In case students would like to stay in touch with you, how could they ask you anything career related?
So you can add me on LinkedIn.
Okay. So everyone just add him on LinkedIn, and you can answer stuff there. If someone would text you saying like, "Hey, I want to do this and this, could you have an advice?" Or
absolutely, yeah. I get a few messages every now and then from people, random people. I'm more than happy to help. I think, if someone didn't give me like a hand and give me an opportunity, then I wouldn't be in the job I am now. And so I'm more than happy to give that back and help people as I can.
So look out for Peace's name in the inbox. She'll definitely be there. Andy Ford has a question, which is quite interesting. What's your feeling about the increased use of mobile devices for news gathering? You might make some enemies with this one. Step carefully.
I think it's going to be mobile devices are going to be used more and more. I mean, a lot of news companies are using mobiles to sort of do live TV, and I just think they're going to be used more and more. Personally, I'd rather obviously use a more a proper camera, but there is a place for them. There is a place, and I think that kind of place for them is going to grow as we go on. But there will always be a need for more stylized production, I think.
Where do you think mobile devices excel compared to cameras, or the other way around?
Speed, absolutely, just speed. If you're, say, a bomb goes off in London, or there's a terrorist attack, or something suddenly happens, the first kind of load of content you're going to get is from people with their mobile phones, because you can just whip it out so quickly. You know, everyone's always got a camera on them now, and it's their mobile.
Right.
So whereas, you know, if I rocked up on a scene, I need to get it out and take the lens cap off and expose and set my sound and all this and that. Whereas it's literally, you know, within like 3 seconds, I can be filming right now. So speed completely.
I know you said you're working very fluidly and everything. If you, let's say if you're on the street and, as you said, you know, a bomb would go off, God forbid. If you would take out your phone and start filming it, would you be able to take that to your supervisor and say, "This is the footage I have"?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, I'd probably the kind of process would probably be that, yeah, something happens, I crack my phone out, film it, I'd make a call in and just say, "Oh, this has happened near me. I filmed it. Do you want it?" And like they'll probably say yes, and then I can literally just send it, I don't know, on like a WeTransfer link or something like that in to a certain email, and they just put it on the server, and then everyone can use it.
All right. So, what are your working hours exactly? Do you choose whenever you like to work, or can you just work whenever you can, and then you fill out your own hours schedule, or?
So you do have a rota, and it works out around about 4 days a week.
Okay.
And it's 11-hour shifts. But that
Quite long.
Say again, sorry.
Quite long shifts.
Yeah, they do fly by though. You know, if you drive somewhere, and so you can drive somewhere for a couple of hours, and then by the time you've filmed and then sent it in, and you drive back, it's kind of like the whole time over. It does go quick. So yeah, it's kind of 4 days a week, and it's on different shifts, and because Sky News is 24-hour news, you know, you work kind of all throughout 24 hours on different shifts, and there's different people doing different times. But it is quite fluid. Because I live in the Midlands, if there's a shoot near me, I might get a call and say, "Oh, do you fancy swapping a shift for this day because there's a shoot near you on that day?" And you know, just different things like that, where like they'll try and help you out, and then you help them, head them out, and you just kind of work it out between you. But most of the time you do your rota, but then there are the odd bits where you break the rota to kind of cover the demand.
Right. Yeah. So it's a bit flexible. It's a bit in your own time, really.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, and I think that's where kind of the love of the job has to come in. And you know, most of the time, it doesn't feel. I don't feel like I'm working most of the time. I'm just going out and filming and doing what I love to do.
All right. Great stuff. So a couple more questions for you, and we're gonna be almost done. First of all, let's say you're a student, right? Let's say you're a student in your first year. What would be exactly the steps you would take to get exactly where you are now? I know you said networking and experience with Sky News. You did the 1.5 year stuff, teas and coffees and all that. But what would you say would be your first point of contact? You're in uni right now. Who are you calling? Where do you go?
So first thing would be go to the RTS website and remember.
Fair enough.
And sign up for the emails. Then you'll get emails for networking events. Second thing would be go to Solent Creatives and register yourself with them and get on the list for getting jobs in whatever type of thing you want to go into. Then third thing would be go to the equipment hatch every single day and raid it. Get out whatever you can. Just go and make something, and just try and improve yourself and try new things and just sort of get better and better. You can't have too much time on a camera shooting because you're just always learning. There's always, different situations, different lighting, different things that you can create. I used to go to the park and film people walking around and make like a arty slow-mo video of it, or, so many different random things that I used to go and create. And then when you do get the jobs, you're going to be more sort of skilled up to be able to absolutely smash them. So there's a few things. And then after that, just be, go to networking events, introduce yourself to people. And then you kind of have to repeat that process and ask for opportunities doing that until you get an opportunity to do work experience. And then once you've got that work experience, keep yourself in and keep your foot in the door until there's an opportunity that you can take.
All right. Yeah. So that's the overall advice for today, I guess. Just be proactive, take every opportunity, network, go to RTS website because that's really important. And yeah, great stuff. Great stuff. How are you dealing with quarantine in regards to creativity? Because you're still working.
Yeah, still working. Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions though on how we can work with social distancing. Yeah, keeping the 2 meter rule. Creativity has taken a hit, but you kind of got to work around it. So you can't obviously get as close to people, so you can't get certain angles of shots, or you've always kind of got to shoot at quite a squashed focal length. So like at I don't know, 70 mil or something, so the background's quite squashed in with them.
Yeah.
Because you've got to keep back, and because of having to keep an eye line with the reporter, you kind of got the interviewee, the reporter, and then you back here 2 meters from them as well. So you're having to zoom in quite a bit, but a lot of it is outside. You're having to shoot a lot of stuff outside now rather than going into people's houses. But creativity-wise, you just kind of try and work around it and think of different things on the spot. You just kind of work with what you got. Every situation in my job's so different, so you just kind of work with what you've got.
Do you do more editing now that you're in quarantine?
Either
by choice or because they ask you to do it?
No, it's about the same, to be honest. I've been editing this documentary from Senegal, but no more really, because they have kind of editors as well at London, sort of in London at the base. So they're all kind of working away as well, and your footage gets sent in and they cut it.
What's the best editing software you think there is?
I think there's a right editing software depending on the job. My favorite is Premiere, purely because you can throw kind of all different types of files and formats into it on the same timeline, and it will just work, and it kind of does a lot of the work for you. So a lot of the jobs that I do are really time constrained, so you've got to just be as quick as you can and get the best product you can in the shortest amount of time. So Premiere definitely for me.
Okay. Andrew Thorne has a question. Have you got a website or portfolio where we can see some of your work or things you've done?
Yeah, if you go on my LinkedIn, there's beneath like the bio bit, I've got one of my pieces of work and that's linked from Vimeo. So if you click on that, then you can see some of my other pieces.
Okay. Have you tapped in all different sides of video production, as in music videos, any film at all, or just broadcast?
Just broadcast. I mean, I've done like promo videos through certain creatives, and actually, no, I have done music videos. Thinking about it, when I was at the recording studio, but it was quite sort of low end stuff. Just sort of me with the SLR with somebody in a. There we go. But sort of, I guess, kind of professionally, it's only broadcast and then promo videos. I've filmed the odd sort of conference or talk or something like that and gave it to a client. But yeah, mainly just sort of television broadcast.
Okay. And to start slowly wrapping up everything, it's been 40 minutes. Let's say, I'm not trying to give anyone hopes up. I'm not trying to give you a hard time either. But let's say a student would like to shadow you for a day.
So at the moment,
be okay with that?
I mean, I'd be absolutely fine with that, but it's not up to me. It's something that I can put forward, and the decision's made out of my control.
Yeah.
I'm happy to ask me that, and I'll see. I'll try and do what I can do.
Just because thinking out of everything you said, I'm almost certain that you'll get a message on LinkedIn saying like, "Hi, I know you said about shadowing. Can I shadow you as well?" So it's better to get through that now, just to make sure.
Of course, yeah. No, ask away. Yeah, I'll try and do what I can do.
And any final words for our students? Any advice? Anything that you can think of?
Just get cameras out. Use them as much as you can.
Get experience.
Every piece of kit in the equipment hatch you should have had your hands on by the time you finish uni. Get as much experience as you can. Learn as much as you can, and take absolutely every opportunity.
Ooh. We have another question from Inez. I'll just leave it at Inez because I can't pronounce the other one. Sorry. How important is LinkedIn?
Yeah, I'd say it's really important. You know, it's I get some people try and add me on Facebook, and I think that's like a personal space. But LinkedIn, you know, is purely professional, and it's an online CV. And if someone's looking for a camera operator or an editor or something, they can go on there and just see purely your work, and there's no, you know, pictures of you drinking somewhere or something like that. And also, it's an easy way to find potential opportunities, because there's so many jobs that are posted. I think you can sign up on you know, like LinkedIn job alerts, and it will email you every single day with camera operator jobs, editor jobs that are in your local area.
All right. Well, there you have it, guys. Have a lovely smile. Do networking. Be professional on LinkedIn. Be proactive. Take every opportunity, and just enjoy what you do. You heard it from Soul and Creative first, and from Dean Massey. All right. Thank you, Dean. Thank you for coming today. Thank you guys for watching and for your questions. We're Soul and Creatives, and I'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.